After he left, I was alone, so I felt bored, so I leaned on the bed to play with my phone, and after a while I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was already dark. Vong Van's mother had finished making dinner. She called me out to eat. Because when I was at the cemetery, she asked me if I was on my period or not. When Vong Van's mother saw me, she felt a bit embarrassed. During the meal, she served me food very enthusiastically. I also wanted the relationship between me and my future mother-in-law to be good, so I actively searched for topics and asked her what was wrong with mushrooms. Today's blood tomb, why did it suddenly explode? What does it have to do with women's menstruation? As soon as she finished asking, Vong Van's mother immediately shot out like a loudspeaker, saying that the grave was quite old. It was the burial grave of a married couple, and there were 2 coffins buried under it. But last year, that grave was dug up once. The coffin containing the woman was stolen, so this time the bloody grave exploded. It was definitely the man's unjust soul. Take revenge and find his wife. While telling the story, Vong Van's mother's face showed fear, not hiding her superstition, and seriously told me not to go near that cemetery. It is not peaceful there now. After hearing this, I just laughed in silence. That girl was stolen last year, so why did that unjust soul come out this year to take revenge? That alone was enough to keep me calm. And even if there was a spirit of revenge, what does it have to do with those 5 girls? Why would he hurt them? Vong Van's mother explained that the devil is the clitoris. The yang energy on the outside is too heavy. If it comes out casually, it will burn. So if it wants revenge, there must be a chance. A girl is during menstruation is the opportunity. Menstruation is pure yin, very beneficial for ghosts, so there has always been a rule in the area that women and girls during their menstrual period are not allowed to go to the cemetery, otherwise they will be haunted by ghosts. Keep. She spoke out of nowhere, as if she knew very well. Having finished speaking, she urged me to eat, saying that the widow of the Vong family had already treated all the girls who were on their periods. This matter was over. I didn't need to think too much. I didn't think much of it, but what she said made me start to feel nervous. After all, I actually went to the cemetery during my period and broke the taboo. Moreover, since yesterday, after I came back from visiting the grave, Vong Van seemed to have turned into a different person, or I was fine and Vong Van was fine. Is Van haunted by ghosts? Thinking of this, I hesitantly looked at Vong Van's mother, wanting to tell her that Vong Van might have seen a ghost, but as soon as I was about to say it, I swallowed it back. In the end, that's just my speculation. There's no evidence. I don't know how to describe Vong Van's change to his mother. Could it be that Vong Van used to be very naive? Has suddenly become corrupted? Thinking and thinking about it, I still decided not to say anything, waiting for Vong Van to return before deciding. So I waited all evening until after 2 o'clock at night Vong Van returned. He looked like he had just gone through a violent exercise, breathing heavily. But even so, he still jumped into the blanket, his cold hands parted my legs, and without saying a word, he crawled inside. I was startled, avoided him, and asked him what happened and why he came home so late. He still didn't say anything, just panting, his breathing getting heavier and heavier. It seemed that my evasive action made him angry. His movements became rough, pressing me down and placing me under him, forcing me like amaranth rain and fierce wind. I tried to struggle, but my strength was not as strong as his, and it seemed that the more I struggled, the more excited he became, the more intense it became. What's more terrifying is that at this moment I can't say anything. No matter how much I cry for help, my throat feels clogged and I can't make any sound. After he calmed down, I was already stiff on the bed. My body felt like it was torn apart without any strength. As for him, after he was satisfied, he was no longer panting like before. His body was no longer as cold as when he first returned. He gently hugged me and said, "Go to sleep. When you wake up, your body will recover." How do I sleep anymore? At this point, I could confirm that the person hugging me was not Vong Van, or I could say it was not the same Vong Van from before. Last night was so crazy, maybe because Vong Van's nature is very enthusiastic, but even if he ate tiger liver and bear bile, Vong Van would not dare to force himself on me. So there's a problem. Who is this Vong Van hugging me? Is it possible that Vong Van is possessed by that revenge ghost? Did I go to bed with a ghost last night? Is the menstruation on that bloody grave also mine? I curled up in Vong Van's chest all night, my nerves stretched, not because I didn't want to escape, but because my body was numb and had no strength to escape anymore. Fortunately, he fell asleep very quickly, breathing evenly while I trembled for a while before gradually regaining consciousness. Obviously, he is not Vong Van, but now I can't expose him, and I can't let him know that I suspected him. After all, demons are things that kill people without blinking an eye. Since he doesn't want to kill me yet, I have to strike first as the best policy. Now I just need to wait until morning. I will find an opportunity to go to the widow of the Vong family to ask her for help. She is so powerful, there will definitely be a way to save me. I had a solution, so I felt much more comfortable, but after waiting until morning, my plan ran into trouble. Vong Van had woken up a long time ago, looked like he was in a very good mood, even turned to kiss me on the forehead, then leaned against the head of the bed to read a book, not saying anything about going out to eat. Just wait right next to me. I was so scared that my heart was pounding. I could only continue to pretend to sleep, but I was also very anxious. He keeps watching over me like this. How can I go to Wong's widow's house? I didn't dare to do anything. My eyes closed tightly, but not long after, my stomach betrayed me, making gurgling sounds. At that moment, I just wanted to commit suicide. What a joke. When was this? Already dead, but still hungry. Sure enough, the rumbling sound in my stomach attracted Vong Van's attention. In the dim light, I felt his face approaching, very close to mine, and I even noticed the breathing he was trying to suppress. I was so scared that my scalp was numb and my breathing was disordered. Immediately after that, I heard an evil laugh, cold lips covering mine. Ah! I cried out in panic. The tense nerves finally broke in half. I sat up and pushed him away. His eyes were looking straight at me, his expression smiling. Are you deliberately pretending to be asleep to wait for me to kiss you?